go ahead and get started here. Welcome. Thank you for joining us. Here's the topics that we're going to be going through this evening. Mrs. George, it sounds like there's still some people joining us. If you could take care of the lobby since my screen is showing the slideshow, that would be great.
Absolutely.
So our goal tonight is not necessarily to cover every single detail or answer every single question that you might come up with, but to give you kind of an overview of what to expect for the next year. We want to give you a chance to meet us and learn about our business partners that you're going to be working with next year, and let you know some of the things that you need to start thinking about in advance before next fall rolls around. So if you have questions during tonight's session, there's two ways you can go about it. You can either use the raise your hand feature, or you can go to the chat box and type in your question. Out of the effort to keep things a little bit streamlined, we'll probably address all of the questions at the end. So just jot down your questions or type them in the chat and we'll get to those at the end.
Your picture's missing.
I know. Okay, this is really strange because even that first slide took a while to load. So I don't know. I swear I'm real. I'm right here. I promise. My name is Tamara Cessna. My background is in medical laboratory science. And as I said earlier, this is my 5th year with Northland NCAPS.
And I am Barbara George. This is my 2nd year with Northland NCAPS, and my background is nursing. Specifically, I have sedation nursing, as you can see from the outfit I was wearing there.
All right, let's see here. I don't know why that whole slide didn't load. But one of the other things that was on this slide was a reminder to have everybody go over and type your name and your school in the chat so we can take attendance. And we've addressed that a couple times already. Oh, okay, this is interesting. We're going to load one thing at a time here. Hey there, okay. Well, at least they all loaded. All right, moving on. All right, for the Northland NCAPS experience. So there's a few different things we want to talk about here. We want to talk about our strand and give you a little bit of information about that. We want to talk about Northland NCAPS Professional Skills Bootcamp. We want to talk about the experience that you'll have in the fall semester and then in the spring semester as well. So we're going to kind of park on this slide for a couple of minutes. And Mrs. George and I are going to talk a little bit about our strand and introduce that to you. And then we are actually going to bring on a couple of this year's associates to talk about their experience during boot camp, the fall, and then the spring semesters with their internships and stuff. So she and I are going to start, and then we will introduce them and turn it over to them. So Mrs. George, would you like to start by kind of introducing our strand a little bit?
Sure, absolutely. So medicine and healthcare, it's, pretty self-sufficiently named, but we do also have the outpatient and the inpatient side, which is why Ms. Cessna and I actually team up together. So you will learn more about that specifically as the first semester moves on, and you will get experiences in both. But I focus a lot on many hands-on skills. We talk a lot about what is there other than just inside the hospital, because that, once you learn, is a huge, wide variety. And you may come into our program in August saying, I absolutely want to do this, but we're going to show you what else is out there that is just going to absolutely blow your mind as to how many things are out there that is more than just being a doctor or a nurse. It is huge. And so that's what we will expose you to on my side of things, Ms. Cessna, and she has an experience.
Yeah. So in addition to that, I feel like we should also kind of throw in here that we cover everything in medicine and healthcare from mental health, behavioral health, veterinary medicine, optometry, dentistry, orthodontia, you name it. If it touches or affects the human body, we cover all of that in our strand. So that's why we talk about all of the different professions in our field. Even within, once you get to the inpatient side of things, we tend to think of the hospital as its own city because we will interact with the security team, HR, nutrition and dietetics, pharmacy. There's so much to working in a hospital that it's not just all clinical. There's accounting, there's coding, there's all kinds of different things. So that's part of what, in addition to what she does on the outpatient side, we take that on the inpatient side and we expand into all the different parts of the hospital as a city and all of the different careers that are possible within the hospital as well. And you have to understand, there's no way that we could touch on every single career that's available within healthcare. We do our best. We're going to ask you what you're interested in, kind of what you're thinking at this moment in time. And then we're going to do our best to kind of get you some exposure to that field and then also challenge your brain in other ways with some other fields as well. And you may find that you may come in thinking you want to be a physician because you want that hands-on patient care. And then after you have interviewed a physician, you may find out that they have very little time to interact with their patients. And it's actually the nurses that do most of the interaction or something like that. So don't be surprised if your mind changes along the way as we kind of explore some of these different careers and what they do every day at work. So we do dabble in all of those different areas. So at this point, I would like to introduce our two guest speakers. We have Olivia Noble. She is a senior from Park Hill High School. And we have Logan Georger, who is a junior from Platte County High School. And they are going to take it away from here. And I think if it's okay with you guys, I'm actually going to stop sharing the slide deck so that we can see them and interact with them. And then we can come back to this slide deck once they're done, kind of talking about their experience in the program.
Hello, my name's Logan Georger, and I just wanted to talk a little bit about like the fall semester and then my spring semester. So the fall semester, you kind of start out learning basic professional skills and things like that, like putting your phone number or your email address or your address in an email. And then other things you learn like hands-on skills, like taking manual vital signs and stuff like that, just hands-on stuff. And then like during this time, you're also doing like medical terminology that'll help you quite a bit throughout. Like during my internship, there's a lot of medical terms that match up, so I know what conditions are and like things like that. And then also you do really helpful projects during the time. Like this year we did a project. It was called Peer Supporting Peers that ended up getting watched by the CEO of North Kansas City Hospital. So that was a pretty big deal. And then we also did a patient tracker project that we kind of observed a patient and diagnosed a patient, and we kind of learned on how to teach and like what goes into making a patient feel better and everything else that goes into, I don't know, a hospital side. You learn about not just medicine, but you learn about billing and you learn about pharmacy and you learn about this and that. And it's really important because it opens your eyes on aspects rather than just being a doctor or a nurse and all this stuff or conditions. You learn about just everything. You learn about how much ICUs cost to stay in. You learn about medication, how much surgeon charges are. You learn about everything. So yeah, Olivia.
Yeah, hi, I'm Olivia. I'm a senior at Park Hill. And kind of going off of what Logan said, the first week of school during the first week of NCAPS through boot camp, you work on getting your LinkedIn set up. We work on it, getting your email set up and everything, and kind of getting comfortable with being able to reach out to different people and setting up correct emails. Yeah, and then also what he said about the medical terminology, there's a chance for dual credit for medical terminology. Everybody has to take that class, so I thought it was kind of interesting that since we all have to take it, and if you do well in it, you can get dual credit for it for college.
Yeah, thank you guys. And that's, we do have several different opportunities for dual credit through both UMKC and Northwest. Those have not necessarily been set in stone for next year, but when you come to class, we'll have the enrollment forms and everything for dual credit for next year.
I would also like to throw in that Logan, yes, he is a junior, but he has the option. He is on target to graduate, and so he was able to apply and come back as a senior associate his second year. So he will be with us again, and that is an option as long as, like I said, you have to talk to your counselor about that and make sure you're on target to graduate. You have everything that you need. So he's going to be able to come back again this second year and have a slightly different experience than what he had this year. So I wanted to make sure that I threw that out there as well. And the medical terminology course, I'm going to go ahead and say we don't know if we're going to throw that one out there again this year, but there will definitely be opportunities in a lot of the other courses that we do for dual credit as well.
Yeah, thank you. All right, so Logan, do you want to talk first about your internship experience this semester?
Yeah, sure. So
maybe tell us what you're interested in and what you ended up doing.
Okay. So my interest when I came into the program was like being an anesthesiologist or something along those lines. And then later, while we listened to speakers, I really fell in love with surgery, and I really thought trauma surgery was going to be what I wanted to do. But then I fell in love with pediatric surgery, so that's kind of what I wanted to do. But with the hospitals being closed and COVID and everything, I ended up interning at Jackson Animal Clinic up in Platte City, Missouri, and I absolutely fell in love with it. It was a new side of medicine where you learn basic procedures like spay and neuters on dogs, and you learn, I learned feeding patterns for cows and horses. I learned a whole mess of stuff and I just absolutely fell in love with all of it because it's just a new side, and it's refreshing to see. Like, you have to persevere, and sometimes dogs and cats don't get better and animals don't get better. But when they do, and like you do the right thing and you prescribe the right medicine and you prescribe the right antibiotics or something like that, it's rewarding. And even if the hospitals were closed for me, that it's completely fine because I don't regret a thing. I loved my internship, and it was the greatest thing I've done for my high school career. So, yeah.
Yeah, and I would tell you to keep an open mind, especially going into next year, because we don't really know what next year is going to bring. But medicine is medicine, right? Antibiotics are antibiotics, whether you're treating a human or an animal. Animals can't tell you what's wrong, neither can some of the small children. Anatomy is anatomy. We all have, very comparative anatomy. So the things that you're learning will definitely carry over to human medicine. So we'll tell you this a million times next year. Keep an open mind because you just never know where you're going to end up or what you're going to end up enjoying along the way.
Yep, I agree completely.
All right, Olivia, you're up next. Would you tell us a little bit about what you're interested in and your internship experiences this semester?
Yeah, so I'm kind of different. I always knew that I wanted to be an OBGYN, and I actually ended up getting a internship with an eye doctor's office, so it's kind of a completely different space. I'm very grateful for that experience because although it's not something I wanted to do, I still appreciate being able to be in a place of medicine, very different, but still a place of medicine. I still know that I want to be an OBGYN, and I don't really have a lot of interest in becoming an eye doctor, but I think that it was really important for me to have that experience, to go somewhere and try something new, to know that that's not what I want to do. And I definitely think it's important to try things and find out the things that you do like and that you don't like as well. But yeah.
So that was your first internship. Then mid-semester, she had an opportunity to switch gears completely and help out a nonprofit for the second half of the semester. So would you touch on that as well? Because you got a little bit of the business and marketing side out of that.
Yeah, so right now I'm currently with a nonprofit organization, and it's called North Kansas City Strong. And so what they do, they specialize in teen mental health outreach. So it's kind of a totally different aspect of medicine, which I think is great. And actually, the lady that I work for, she was a guest speaker that we had earlier in the year. Um, and so she was one of my favorite people that came and talked to us because it was a very different side of medicine that doesn't often get talked about. But yeah, I am in charge of working their social media and doing community outreach and kind of highlighting things that are going around the community, going on with COVID.
Yeah, so you just never know what opportunities may present themselves. And her interest, the guest speaker reached out to me and said, hey, I need some help. Do you have anybody that could step in and help? And I said, I think I might know just the right person. So that took kind of everybody's willingness to kind of make that happen for the best experience for everybody. So thank you guys so much for explaining a little bit more about the program from an associate standpoint. And we're going to have these guys hang on. And if you have questions when we get to the end, they'll be there to help answer questions as well. So I'm going to flip back over to our slide deck, hopefully without any issues. We shall see. All right, here we go. So we are through with this one. Next up is a little bit about our business partner site. You all that are on this call will be coming to North Kansas City Hospital in North Kansas City. Both of our classrooms are located there. North NCAPS does not have its own building. We are embedded in different business partner sites throughout the Northland. And you'll be coming here for class each day. My classroom is inside the hospital, and Mrs. George's classroom is in one of the professional buildings on the hospital campus outside of the main hospital. Of course, you know, all things are subject to change, but as of right now, that's the plan as far as your schools and your business partner site. So one thing that we really need to impress upon you guys at an early stage is how important it is to behave as a professional, especially when you're coming to class inside the hospital. That's super important. We have, you know, real business professionals, real patients there. There for urgent care and surgeries and everything like that. And we really have to be, you know, the ultimate set the professional example that we can. So when you walk out of the doors of your high school and walk into our business partner setting, we expect you to behave like an adult and to behave like an employee of the hospital. And that's the standard that we set. And as long as you understand that and you're willing to do your part and be professional while you're in the hospital, dress appropriately, behave appropriately, then we will be just fine next year. So that's a little bit about the hospital. We do interact with all kinds of different professionals in the hospital. So that's why it's so important that we be located within our business industry that we're going to be working in. Right, Mrs. George, do you want to take this one?
Yes, hello. Okay, so it is really important to know early on that we do not provide any transportation. And this can sometimes be a challenge to people, so it's definitely something to start thinking about now. Sometimes we are off site, and especially when it comes to shadowing on my end with the outpatient side, hopefully we will be able to go off site more than we did this year. And if we do, you will need to be able to have that transportation to get there. So just kind of start thinking about that. And if you do have a transportation issue, do contact your counselor. There are some of our schools that they do provide cabs for our students. So we don't have anything to do with that, though. That is strictly between you and the school that you attend. And then also do consider contacting other North NCAPS student associates from your high school about carpooling. That is very common, especially from our Platte County area. That seems to be very common for them to be able to carpool as well. So as long as your parents are okay with that, that is an option as well.
Yeah, I think also our new friends from North Platte will probably also want to carpool.
Yes.
We serve 18 different high schools and 10 different school districts. So that's why it's just simply not possible for us to provide transportation, and you must be able to get yourself there. So if you are not able to get to class, you miss whatever we're doing that day. So we don't do makeup work or anything like that. It's just like going to work. If you're not there, you miss the day. So keep that in mind. Start thinking about transportation. We have a lot of juniors for next year, so you're going to need to start thinking ahead as far as how you're going to get to class every day in the fall. All right. Next up is dress code. So this is particularly important within medicine and healthcare. North NCAPS dress code is slacks or khakis, no jeans. So keep that in mind. A collared shirt and occasionally a sports jacket for the men. In healthcare, we don't quite do as many business luncheons and stuff like that as some of the other strands do. So dress up, look nice. Sweaters or a nice top and cardigan. My pro tip here is if you get yourself a pair of black slacks that fit well and a pair of khaki slacks that fit well, you can swap both of those things out with some nice tops and cardigans. It can be fairly cool in the hospital, so layer it up and you will be just fine for the semester. A couple of special requirements for medicine and healthcare. The hospital states that we should not be wearing dresses or skirts in healthcare. So we do uphold that, and no open-toed shoes in healthcare as well. So definitely keep those things in mind. We recommend comfortable casual shoes like ballet flats or loafers. No tennis shoes or anything like that. So just kind of keep those things in mind as you're doing your back to school shopping in the summertime, and remember that you will need some professional dress when you come to North NCAPS. All right, next up is hospital onboarding. And so this is provided by our business partner. And these are the hospital's requirements for being in the program. So they will send you information about onboarding. They usually begin that in June. And I think they always feel like they need to get that done in June because there are things that has to happen all summer long to get you guys ready to start with us in August. So be sure to continually check your personal email address, as that's how the information will come to you about hospital onboarding. The other thing that the hospital requires is they do need updated vaccination records. So the suggestion is that you get this information from your high school before this school year ends. Okay, I feel like that's really important. So I'm going to say that again. Get your vaccination records from your high school before school ends, because you will need those for hospital onboarding. And also remember to check your personal email address throughout the summer, because you'll be receiving information from the hospital about onboarding, from North NCAPS about different things that we're doing or getting ready for the fall. And you guys have to understand, if you do not do the onboarding, if you do not do all these pieces, you do not get to start with us in the fall. So you have to uphold your end of the deal and make sure you're getting the steps done so that you can come start with us when August rolls around. All right, so we've got some spring and summer tasks, kind of touching on that a little bit. Interest surveys. So I mentioned earlier that we would be reaching out to you to find out kind of where your current interest lies. So here in the next few weeks before school gets out, we're going to be giving you a call and we're going to have a conversation and say, hey, what are you interested in? What are you thinking right now? And we're thinking like career-wise, profession-wise. That lets us kind of start to do some work over the summer and reach out to some contacts that we have and provide some of those, get some of those opportunities lined up for the fall. You'll also receive a waiver and form submission email. Last year, those were all done electronically, so you'll get the email and then you'll go to our site's called Transio, and you can sign the waivers and the forms and get all that submitted electronically that way. And you'll get some information about having ID badge photos. And our strand is a little different because you will have Northland CAPS photo IDs, and you will also have a North Kansas City Hospital photo ID. So just keep those things in mind, that those will be coming over summer. You'll also get some information about fall onboarding events, and those happen before we start school in the fall. So keep an eye out for those things. And then the big note at the bottom, these required tasks are only possible to get to you if we have the correct phone numbers and email addresses. So if you aren't getting information from us, if you don't get a phone call from us, or you're not receiving emails, call the Northland CAPS office and let them know, because there could be numbers slipped in the phone number, or the email address may be incorrect or something like that. So if you are not hearing from us throughout the summer, please call the Northland CAPS office and let them know that you haven't gotten your information. There is the Northland CAPS office phone number and email. So if you want to jot that down, or just make a note, you can also go to the Northland CAPS website, and the contact information is out there as well. So that's how you would reach out to us over the summertime and get a hold of us if you need to. On the right there, you can see all 4 of us medicine and healthcare instructors. We do have a North cohort and a South cohort. So the other 2 instructors are affiliated with Liberty Hospital. So that is the difference between kind of the 2 instructors and where the business partners that we work with. All right, so that is the end of what we have for you guys. So I think we can open it up for a quick question and answer session if anybody has any questions that they'd like to ask at this time.
There have been a couple that have come over on the chat.
Okay.
First one is always a common one. Can we wear scrubs? You can wear scrubs once you start your internship. As of right now, we will still continue with our business casual. And with a lot of professionals in the building, yes, you will see a lot of scrubs, but you will also still see a lot of business casual as well. So it's very important to look the part. We will dress for your day, but you'll hear more about that later. But for the most part, do plan on coming in business casual.
Yeah, I think just to tack on to that, we expect you kind of have to earn the right to wear scrubs. Right. You have to get through that fall semester and the professionalism piece to get to the internship. And I feel like we need to put a little asterisk out there on scrubs. Most of our business partners require a very specific color, and they require the Northland CAPS scrubs because those are easily identifiable as student scrubs. So I would advise you to not go out and buy scrubs over summer. I would wait until we know more in the fall about what the business partner recommendations are and whether or not that's even going to be allowed. Most of the time, it's not really allowed until spring semester. Good question.
Another good question, is there a link to the list of required vaccinations?
That is set by our business partner. That's set by the hospital. I know it's everything you have to go to school for whatever grade level that you're in. And those are the ones I'm aware of. Now, we do also require the flu shot in the fall, but the hospital will give you the flu shot in the fall. So that is a requirement of being in the program, but they will offer that to you.
Yeah, we are very fortunate that the hospital will actually come over and vaccinate. You will get permission slip forms to go home with for the parents to sign those. So that is a good question.
Yeah, I see some pop-ups about the COVID vaccine. There is not a hospital policy around that yet, so we can't speak to that yet. These are all the hospital employee health requirements. It's the same, whatever the hospital employees have to have, we have to have as well. They will also require a TB test for every associate before they start, but they will administer that test and they'll take care of all that for you. That's part of our.
Oh, I'm so sorry to interrupt you.
That's
Another good question. I have someone asking if the emails only go to the student associates or do they go to the parents as well? Through the summer,
Yeah, I believe over summer, everything kind of goes to everybody just to make sure that we're getting the information out there.
And it's really good practice, though. We do, again, that professionalism piece, that responsibility piece. So definitely get in the practice, our future associates, as going in and taking that responsibility and say, hey, mom and dad, I have this that I need to do. So good practice for you to get started on that.
Yep. And we don't want you to miss the boat. We don't want you to get to August and realize that you didn't do hospital onboarding, so you can't join us. So make sure you're checking that and doing your part along the way.
And this is always a common one, especially if you're a Platte County student, and now we have North Platte. My school is 30 minutes from North Kansas City Hospital. How much time are we going to be given to get to the hospital from our school? Now, I don't know what time your first class begins, but our class is from 7:30 to 10. So hopefully, I mean, I don't know, this is my second year. At this point, it hasn't been an issue for people to get there on time. Ms. Cessna, do you have anything to add with that?
Yeah, so morning class is 7:30 to 10 and afternoon class is 12 to 2:30. I have not had an issue in the 5 years. Very rarely do we have an issue with a school who doesn't allow enough time for people to get back and forth in between. It's usually built in with either your lunch or like a study hour, eagle hour, whatever it is at your school.
I
Logan,
can kind of speak on
you
that.
might be able to speak.
Yes,
Yeah,
Mr.
so-
Logan, one of my Platte County associates. Yes, go right ahead.
So Platte County is about 25-30 minutes away from North Kansas City Hospital. So considering we get out at 10, it gives you enough time to basically get home and you can kind of relax for like 30 minutes. My school does it because we don't have to go till our 5th hour starts. So if our 5th hour starts at 11:38, that gives you an hour and a half to get from North Kansas City to the high school. You'll have enough time and more to eat, do whatever you need to do, and still make it to school on time.
Yeah, I know with the block scheduling, sometimes people will have a 4th block and they're just going to have to accept that they have to go straight to school. They may not have time to go home and change clothes in between there, but you'll know more depending on whether your school does block scheduling and how it's laid out. You should always have enough time to be able to get to where you need to go.
Absolutely. Will we be emailed this information? There is a lot of stuff that will come in your email, so absolutely look for that. We also have welcome nights that happen before the school year begins, and we will go into more detail of what we've just covered tonight. And then I'm going to go ahead and...
This isn't intended to necessarily cover every single detail. We'll get into that in the fall when we do our onboarding in August.
And someone's asking about the specific class times. So if you are a morning associate, it's from 7:30 to 10. Afternoon is from noon to 2:30. And it is the same time every day. COVID. I think we talked about COVID.
Yep.
If you're not able to attend an event during the summer, who do we contact? Now, let's see. Are we talking about one of the hospital onboardings? I'm not really sure.
I'll touch on that. I believe the onboarding is virtual this year. I believe they send you the links of the training that you need to do. So it's not so much you have to go and sit there on a certain day, but you have to get these things done. Is that what you guys did last summer, Olivia? Do you remember what hospital onboarding was? Yeah. Okay. So, yeah. But if there's something that you can't get to or you can't take care of, call our office. They're gonna be the ones that are there all summer, and they can help with any of those types of situations.
Somebody's asking about if these slides will be posted. Yes, actually this session is being recorded and they will be posted on our main web page. When will you know if you have an afternoon or morning class? You should already know. When we made our phone calls, we did confirm with each and every one of you. If you are somebody maybe that didn't answer or didn't get back to us, you can always call our main office and they'll be able to tell you for sure if you're morning or afternoon. Do we know the dates in August? I'm assuming the onboarding. No, we do. Do we have the onboarding dates yet?
I don't think we have any dates yet for onboarding or for any of that stuff. We usually start kind of right there at the beginning of August and get all those things kind of scheduled right before school starts. And then usually your school will be in session for a few days before Northland CAPS starts up.
And can we bring backpacks or purses to class? Absolutely, yes. Having a laptop with you, having supplies with you is absolutely a must in what we do. We will be doing different types of research on the computer. Your emails are all on your computer. So yeah, absolutely bring that with you.
Yeah, and I'll add to that, cell phones are discouraged in public spaces in the hospital. So keep it in your backpack or your purse while you're out in public areas. If you're in class, you are not to be on your cell phone. It needs to be put away, that kind of thing. So just kind of keep that in mind as well. We don't walk around the hospital like recording Snapchats because there are always patients and employees and stuff like that.
So sorry.
You have a little apparition of a dog over your shoulder every now and then. It's kind of funny.
Yes, that would be one of them. Okay, so let's see. Are you able to change from morning to afternoon or vice versa? You will need to go through your counselor for that. We definitely don't have. We've had a couple of people that change. We try to keep the numbers as balanced as possible. So that's one of those things that, again, contact the counselor.
Yeah, you'll have to talk to your counselor and the Northland CAPS office on that. They'll be the ones that will know if there's space available to switch around.
Let's see. If we didn't get a phone call, does that mean you don't have the right number? It's very possible. Very possible. I would call our office for sure and make sure that your phone number matches. Okay, let's see. The number for the main office, someone's asking for that again.
Oh, I think I've got it right here. 816-977-8111.
Okay, and if you cannot make the onboarding in before school starts, we will offer typically 2 different dates for onboarding. If for some reason you absolutely cannot attend either one of them, that is something that we will actually reach out to you. We keep track of who all has attended those. And if you have not attended either one of them, which we do highly encourage because we do get a lot of information out to you guys. So we will be contacting you though if you have not shown up for either one of those. Ms. Eston, do you have anything to add on that one?
Nope. I was just pulling up the chat to read ahead here. Yeah, if you can't meet one of the onboarding dates, just call the office and let them know, and they'll pass that information along to us. What if different schools start on different days? Is everyone's first day the same? Yes, so we do work with 18 different high schools and 10 different school districts. They're going to start all over the place. We have a hard start date that we will start on, I don't even know what it is, August something, and everybody will start on the same day.
Yeah, I want to say it's like the 23rd-ish, something like that. We will also, this is another one that we will go more deep into later, but we do follow the North Kansas City School District schedule. As Ms. Cessna said, we cannot follow 9, I guess now 10 different district calendars. So we do have to settle on one. And we'll go more to that in the fall. Well, summer, I guess.
Yeah. So the next question is about if there's a school or sporting conflict that occurs at the same time as class, what should be done? So the expectation there is that you will let your instructor know that you won't be able to make it to class that day because of, you know, a golf tournament or whatever. And you have to understand that you missed whatever we're doing that day. We don't differentiate between excused absences and unexcused absences. You're either with us or you're not. So the expectation is that you let your instructor know that you won't be there that day. The next question is about how many events will be happening during the summer. It's really not that many. It's more touch points. We're going to reach out to you a few different times in the summer just to make sure that you haven't forgotten about us and that you're getting through all the things that need to be done. And then really the onboarding events will happen in August once we're all kind of getting back in school mode.
These are all good questions. I guess maybe, oh, I'm sorry. Do you have snow days if North Kansas City High School does? So yeah, again, we follow the North Kansas City School District. So if they cancel school for snow, then we cancel school. But we also respect the fact that some of our associates are driving from Platte County and now North Platte, and some of our northern, our other cohorts are up north. So if that were to happen, as long as we have a parent contact us, that is the one and only time that we want a parent to contact us and say, you know, Susie Smith isn't going to be in class today because of bad roads.
Yeah, and we'll talk about that quite a bit in the fall before we get to bad weather time. The onboarding events both happen. Oh, sorry. Did I jump ahead?
No, not at all. I think we both started to answer the same question, so go right ahead.
Yeah, the onboarding events both happen in August. It's usually a couple of different evenings in August that we'll do the onboarding events. Those dates will be sent out over summer. I don't even think those have been set yet. So just keep an eye out for that. The other question is, do we need to bring a laptop to class every day? Yes. If you have a device, bring it with you because you will be using those. Maybe not necessarily every day, but there's no way to know if you'll need it that day or if you won't. So just bring it with you like you would for class at your school.
What if we have a virtual day instead of a snow day? Yeah, that's kind of a bittersweet kind of a thing, isn't it? So yes, we did actually have a couple of those this year. So if the schools, now that they've decided that we can maybe not have snow days and have virtual days, then what we do is we treat it just like we did this year, and you actually get a link. We get online, we gather as a class.
Yeah, we'll follow whatever North Kansas City School District's lead is on that. Yep. The next question is, what type of nice shirt would you like us to wear? We're not too particular on that, as long as it's not see-through, or I know the hospital has a policy against like those cold shoulder tops, no strappy tank tops. Basically, if you're gonna wear something where your shoulders would show, put a sweater over it. Sweaters are perfectly acceptable, a blouse or a nice button-up shirt. Polos are okay. We're not super particular as long as you look nice. Like if you would wear it out on the weekend or hanging out at home, you know, something like that, that might not be the same thing that you would wear to work if you were coming to the hospital. So just keep that in mind. Go for professional dress.
And if you want to be like Logan, I'm going to call you out here. Logan always came in every day dressed very professional, but he liked to express himself through socks. So that's fun. I will throw that out there, Logan. I hope he's at least grinning right now.
Yeah, he's there. We always check to see what socks Logan's wearing because he keeps us entertained that way. So
sometimes they have bacon on them, you know. It just
tacos. You can't forget tacos.
Tacos. Yes.
Taco socks today. It's Cinco de Mayo.
Oh, I forgot.
Yes.
My bad.
All right.
Okay, we do have one more question out there. When do you believe the first email will go out, just so we can make sure we're checking around that time? I'm not sure. Usually it happens probably later in May. As we're wrapping up this school year, our office staff is beginning to start getting everything ready for next year. So I would say probably later in May. Hospital email about onboarding. I don't know that comes directly from the hospital. It'll probably come from North CAPS, but it will have the hospital steps of what needs to be done on there. Everything you get should come from North CAPS, I believe.
And I'm going to throw this out just one last time. If you joined us a little late, please in the chat put, we would like to see the student, or as we said earlier, a name and what school you're.
Otherwise, we're going to be calling you and saying, hey, we missed you. I think Mrs. George is frozen. There she is again.
Hello.
You got frozen there for a second. All right, we've had some really great questions. I think we finally got through all of them. There's another person checking in with her name. Thank you. Do we have any other outstanding questions or anything that we missed? All right.
All right. Well, we are excited for another year, and you know, we faced some challenges this year, but I think we still had fun. I hope that Olivia and Logan, do you guys feel that way? I have not prompted them in any way. Did we have fun? Did we have fun this year?
Yeah, it was fun. We had the most fun we could have in that situation.
We definitely made the most out of each situation.
Logan's got a pretty sarcastic sense of humor there. I did see one question pop in here just a second ago about if they have class every day or every other day. We will have class every day in some form or fashion. So this year we were hybrid. We're hoping next year we can be all in person and we'll have class every day.
We hope.
We do not offer a summer CAPS experience. There's a question about if we offer a summer CAPS experience or just during the school year. We only offer this during the school year because we do the professional piece in the fall and the career exploration, and then the internships in the spring semester. You guys have had some really great questions tonight. All right. Well, I think if nobody else has any outstanding questions, I think that's probably a wrap. If you guys do think of any other questions, feel free to reach out to the Northland CAPS office. You can either give them a phone call or an email and be in touch with them that way. Do I have to have the flu shot? You don't have to have the flu shot ahead of time, but when next year's flu shots roll around in the fall, you will have to get a flu shot at that time. And the hospital will give those to our associates. They'll send home permission slips and they'll offer the shots right there during class.
And yes, we do take pictures of everyone rolling up their sleeves and grimacing. It's fun. We just kind of do it military style. Everyone lines up. It's great.
Not quite that bad. All right. Well, if you guys don't have any other questions for tonight, I think we can call this a wrap. Thank you so much for joining us this evening. We can't wait to actually meet you in the fall.
Look forward to seeing you guys. And thank you, Logan and Olivia, for jumping on.
Don't forget to stop the video recording.
Thank you.
I
don't know what happens if you don't, but.
Are we all good to go?
You are good to go.
Thank you,